Welcome to the CompCalc 2019 training and support videos. My name is Richard Montalvo, and I'm going to be walking you through the first of three videos, which include the basic features and functions, followed by rating with the CompCalc, and then of course advanced tips and techniques for the CompCalc Plus 2019. New for the CompCalc in 2019 is the AWS version, the internet-based version that will be available at various websites beginning in 2019. Before we begin, let me start by stating the obvious. The CompCalc, this is a quick admonishment. The CompCalc Plus is an estimator, not a calculator. All information and data provided to the user of the CompCalc should be reviewed and verified by either a competent workers' compensation attorney or the Disability Evaluation Unit, the DEU. It's not the intent of Richard Montalvo nor the law offices of Richard Montalvo to create an attorney-client relationship nor provide legal advice or analysis to any user of the CompCalc. Okay, now that we have that behind us, the basic feature and function video will provide an overview of each of the separate modules, go over a lot of the features and functions of the CompCalc that it provides, as well as specifically the input and export features. Let's go ahead and begin. You can see that I'm using a iPhone 10 for this demonstration. This video will also be incorporated into the Droid version, but essentially the features and functions are the same. If although the UI, the user interface, the graphic interface might be slightly different, but the features are the same, so you should be able to figure out one versus the other just by watching this video. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap on the CompCalc icon. Now you're going to see in this video that this is the beta version of the 2019. Obviously I have to complete the video before the release. And it has a yellow or orange dot next to it. That'll be green once you've downloaded it off the App Store. And I also want to state that with 2019 we've completed the CompCalc across all devices. It's now available at the App Store for your iPhone, iPad, as well as an OS version for your Mac computer. It's available at the Google Play Store for your Droid devices, and then also it's available now at the Microsoft Store for Windows 10 users as well. We'll have separate videos for the computer versions, but we're going to use this iOS, the iPhone version, for the Droid as well. The features are the same, just as I said, the graphic interface, user interface is slightly different between the two versions. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the icon, and you can see it opens up into this screen and goes right into the CompCalc Plus rating module. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the broom there to clear this out because you can see my last rating is in there. First thing I want you to note is across the bottom of the screen, you'll see each of the various modules have an icon from left to right: PD rating, permanent disability, temporary disability, and life pension. These are some of the modules. You'll also see three dots. Now on the Droid version, it's at the top of the screen rather than at the bottom. But if you tap on the three dots, it's going to take you right into all the other modules that we have: life expectancy calculation, job displacement, death benefit, date calculator, QME, body codes. That's something we all use all the time when we're down at the board. Combined value equation, that allows you to do what ifs. Configuration, that allows you to change the coloration and the how the app presents itself, the user interface. Support and training videos. This is what I wanted to show you. If I tap on support and training videos, and obviously if you're here, unless you just happen to go to YouTube, you'll see that we've got basic features and functions, rating with the CompCalc Plus 2018, that'll say 19, advanced tips and techniques. Those videos are always available. The one thing that the users should know is that although the CompCalc Plus, once it's installed, does not need any interface with the internet, the exception would be to review these videos. They're also available at YouTube because this takes you outside the CompCalc Plus app to YouTube. Now, there's two ways to get back from here. You can swipe left to right, which is what I'm doing to get back, or you can hit the icons on the bottom and you see how they pop out at you, okay, to go to each of the various modules. So you can swipe left to right, and I'm just using my finger, my index finger, or whatever, thumb, whatever you choose, and I'm swiping left to right. And you can see me going across the bottom. The icons pop out at you as we go across the bottom. Okay, let's get back to our rating module. It always comes into the rating module, and I'm not going to go through rating. It's not the intent of this video. I have a full video just on this, but I want to show you how we input within the CompCalc. There's really only two ways to input. One is through roller and one is through keyboard. And I want to show each of those by demonstrating a quick rating, and then we'll go to some of the other modules and you'll see how that works as well. It says date of birth. I'm going to go ahead and tap on date of birth because that's the first, and you'll see that we have the rating at the bottom, and it has the word representation of each of the adjustments: body, whole person impairment, DFC, occupation, and age. I'm going to tap on birth date, and this is an example of what we call a picker, a roller. So I'm going to go ahead and roll through this, get to July 31st, 1976. That's the applicant's birthday. And there's two ways to do this on the iOS, the iPhone version. Only one way on the Droid. On the iOS, you can either tap or hit OK. On the Droid, you just tap OK. So I'm going to go up here. OK is, you'll see, is at the upper right, just below that plus, and I'm going to tap on that. I can go back, and I can double tap on the iOS, the iPhone or iPad version, double tap on the area that says July 31st. That's one way to input. Another way to input, now you can see that we have average weekly wage, and depending on the information at the bottom, you have to tap on average weekly wage. I'm going to change that, and you can see a keyboard comes up. This is the second way to input with the CompCalc 2019. So let's say it's only $200 is his average weekly wage. I'm going to input that, and I'm going to hit return. And you can see it now is calculated the PD rate, and it'll use that once we complete the rating. The reason that we have a question mark and we have missing inputs at the bottom under the amount is because we haven't completed our rating. Okay? Now there's one other thing that I'm going to incorporate in every video, because this is one of the questions I get in the iOS all the time, the handheld. Part of body and occupation. If you come down the left-hand side, you'll see part of body and you'll see occupation. And you'll see to the right in the gray, tap to select. Now I'm going to do this a couple of times. I'm part of body, and to the right it says tap to select. I'm going to tap on that, and it does a reverse and goes into part of body. So now you have part of body, general, and detailed part of body. Now I'm going to go back out by tapping the area of the screen that says general part of body, detailed part of body, and we're back out. Now I'm going to go into occupation the same way. Watch what happens. When I tap on the area to the right of occupation, I go into, now I have occupational industries and schedule of occupational industries within each occupation. Now if I go back out by tapping occupational industries, schedule of occupational industries on that area, I go back out, and now I'm to the next level above, which now I can go into either part of body or occupation. Let me do that one more time so you can see that, because this is the one area that I do get emails and calls on. I want to input part of body. Part of body has two components. It has general, and within those general parts of body, you have a detailed part of body. So I have to get into that by tapping to the right of part of body, and now I have general and detailed. When I go into general, here are all the general parts of body. I'm going to tap on spine. Now when I go into detailed part of body, it limits everything to the spine. I have a search engine up here. This is also on the rating with the CompCalc. I type in lumbar. Now I have just the lumbar parts of body. I'm going to tap on DRE, the first one, and now I've just inputted spine and the specific within the spine, the lumbar DRE. Now I'm going to tap over on the left-hand side where it says general part of body, that area of your screen, detailed part of body, and I'm going to go back out. Now I'm going to go back in to set the occupation. Now occupation has within the schedule occupational industries. Within each industry it has occupations within that industry. So I'm going to tap on that. Now I go in. The first thing I have to set is occupational industries. You can see I also have schedule of occupational industries. So I go into occupational industries. I'm going to get out of groups. You'll see more and rating with that. But now here's a list of all the different industries that have occupations within them. So I'm going to select, what's a good one? Let's just go with automotive has quite a few. So we're going to go with automotive services. Okay. So I'm going to double tap or hit OK. Automotive services. Now I'm going to go into schedule of occupations. And now it's going to limit, because the array is indexed, it's going to limit the automotive services to the occupations within the automotive. And we're going to go with, what's a good one? How about mechanic tune-up or mechanic transmission? We'll tap that. Now we've just set our occupations. We're going to go back out, and you can see that we've set our occupations and our part of body for our rating. And you can see across the bottom it's starting to build our rating as we go. Okay, enough about that. Some of the things that I want you to know, though, about the rating are the icons at the top. We have the whisk broom. That's going to clear everything out. It's going to give you a question. This action will remove all inputs. Are you sure? If you hit OK, it'll wipe it out. We also have an export feature. Because this rating's not done, all I can do is save or restore another rating. Once it's done, I can also print and send an email. Let's just put some dates in here real quick so we can see that as part of this video. And it's a DRE, so we're going to choose 13% whole person impairment. I did that quick just so I could fill this out. Now you can see the ratings completed, and we have the combined value on because we only have one rating string. It doesn't make a difference, but you can actually turn that on and off. If we had multiple rating strings, it would be changing that merely by tapping on combined value : on area off, and it just toggles between the two. Gives you the amount given the date of injury in PD, given the percentage and adjustment. Now that we have this completed, I go to the up arrow. The box with the up arrow is the export feature icon. And there you have it. We can save, restore, print, or email. I'll be going into this, or copy to another rating. I'll go into this in greater detail in rating with. Okay, so the first module is PD rating. The second module is our indemnity calculator. This is the PD disability indemnity chart. And here, the first thing we need to do is put in the date of injury. And what I want you to note is the 15% up or down, pursuant to Labor Code Section 4658, depends on the date of injury. And you can see the asterisk there and the suggestion or the reference at the bottom for the legal authority. As you roll through it, though, go to 2013, that 15% is no longer there. It's taken away as an option. All you have to do is put in the date of injury, put in the percentage of PD, put in, it'll assume maximum unless you put in an average weekly wage. We're going to say that the average weekly wage for this person is not the $405 necessary for maximum. We're going to say it's $300. And I use 300 because we know it's 2/3. Let's see if the calculator is working correctly. Oh yes, it changes the PD rate to 200. Then it gives you the number of weeks and the amount of the PD based on $200 per week. One of the other things that I want you to be aware of is you'll see tap for details. This is information out of my book. These are points and authorities or key references to labor codes that I think are critical and are provided to you. Of course, I do the work comp index, so that is part and parcel of this app. Okay, so that's the PD. The one thing that I'd like to demonstrate for you is the 100%, the colon PV calculation. I'm going to roll this up to 100%. I want you to see what happens. The screen changes, and across goes a unicorn, a little programmer candy there. And as you can see, now I'm going to have to move this up carefully because there's just not enough room to do all the calculations here. But you can see that at 100% disability, you have the ability to put in the date of injury, the age at first payment. Okay, so let's say the applicant is 55. Is the applicant a male or a female? Whoops. What I did was I swiped left. It went to the next module there. If I change it to female, it is going to calculate for me the COLA and PV life pension, including PD payments for the number of years. I'm going to go down and say see COLA inflation rate. I'm going to change that to 3.5, 3.25. I'm a defense attorney. And let's go ahead and modify the PV. I'm going to move that up to 1.25 or 1.5. Okay? Then I can calculate it, compound it based on an annual basis, a semi-annually, a quarterly, or a monthly. Of course, if you're a defense attorney, you're going to want that calculated only annually. If you're an applicant attorney, you're going to want a monthly calculation on that. And you can see that it changes it accordingly down below. So I think I said that the converse. Anyway, but it gives you the future value, and then it also gives you the PV COLA calculation. Remember, and I'll go through this in greater detail because I think you have to understand the algorithm to understand how it works. Remember that COLA is an inflation rate, present value is a discount rate. It's actually reducing it. So they're inverse and they work contrary to one another. Okay, I wanted to show you that, and otherwise we're going to go back, and here is your PD module, your money chart for PD. Okay, let's go into temporary disability. Now the one thing I want to show you here is the date calculator. You can see that you roll in whatever the date of injury. And to use the date calculator, the first thing you have to do is roll in the date of injury. Once you roll in the date of injury, then you're able to use the date calculator, and of course it gives you the max mins for each. Now what I don't like to do, what I've never liked to do, is sit down and use a calendar to calculate the periods between. So I wrote the algorithm for this date calculator. It's going to take 2015, and it's going to use the max TD rate of 1103 unless I modify it within the date calculator, but it's going to assume a 2015 date of injury. So I'm going to tap on the date calculator, and here it is. I'm going to roll up to the top so we can see it all. And it assumes the date of injury of January 2015, but I'm going to change that. The actual date of injury is March 2015. You can see the ending date rolls forward. And let's say that the period is going to be December of 2016, so it's about a year and a half. Now that's 641 days, okay, about 18 months. By tapping on that area where it says days, tap to flip, it converts that into the number of weeks. Now I also have just above the week input average weekly wage, because TD rates are high enough now that often people don't qualify for maximum. So the maximum rate is an average weekly wage of $1654.94. I'm going to modify that to $900. Now this should convert this to $600 for the TD rate, and given the period, reduce the total TD liability. Now one of the things that I just want to highlight for you is the admonishment, or the information just above the average weekly wage. It says calculations include start date but exclude the end date. That's in the defendant's favor, and the reason that I wrote the algorithm that way was I'd rather have it in the defendant's favor than the applicant's favor. But the applicant attorneys who are using this need to understand that you're losing 1 day if it's an ongoing period of temporary disability. So just be aware of that. You're going to want to add 1 day to it if it's a continuing period. If it's an ending date, of course, that's the way that you do it, because the last date, P&S date, is not included in the calculation. Okay, I'm going to tap the X up at the right-hand side next to the CompCalc Plus logo. I'm going to tap that, and now we're back to the TD. So we went back out from the calculator. Of course, tap for detail. This again is from my book. It has some critical labor code sections for referencing. Okay, now let's go into the life pension module. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but of course, as you would expect, there's a future value, present value COLA calculator that will calculate a life pension based on the age of the applicant. And I go through that in greater detail in the module Advanced Tips and Techniques. New for this year is our export feature in the COLA PV calculator for life pension. So you can export that, and I'll go through that in Advanced Tips and Techniques. The other modules that I want to go over are life expectancy. This is pretty simple. You're just going to put in the age to generate a life expectancy. Job displacement, of course, on or after 2013, it's just a constant rate or a constant amount of $6,000. But from 2004 to 2012, it depended on the percentage. So once again, you're just using that roller. Death benefits. Few of us memorize this chart, and it's just nice to have it available when we want to discuss death benefits, either with our clients or with opposition counsel. Combined value equation. Here's what this does, and one of the things I didn't discuss in the rating module is what the plus symbol does. What it allows you to do is add an additional line item. And I just hit the plus and I just added 13. I'm going to modify the 50 to 32, and you can see at the bottom it's giving me the combined value. It's also allows me to put in a date of injury so that I can see what the amount of PD will be based on the combined values I input. It also allows me to put in the average weekly wage if the applicant's less than maximum. Kind of a handy dandy little combined value, so we can do what ifs as we calculate these. Now the rating module actually has a combined value equation built in, so it does it automatically where you have multiple rating strings. And the iOS does not, nor the Droid, but the OS, the Mac computer version, and the Windows 10 version allows grouping based on regions for a grouping of the combined value and application of the combined value equation. Okay, and we've gone through everything else here that we need to. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Hopefully this has been instructive. It's going to get you going on the CompCalc. There's a lot of features and functions here. And as I indicated, new for this year are, of course, the new indemnity charts for 2019, as well as in the internet, we'll be releasing a AWS, Amazon Windows, or an Amazon Web Services version. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that, and if you come across something that you think should be changed or added or additional features, I do pay for that if it's a great idea that I incorporate. Okay, I'm going to swipe closed, and that concludes this portion of the support and training videos for the CompCalc Plus 2019. Thank you.